Hi guys, this is Anna. It's Sunday morning and no lesson planning to do this week because I finished my year of teaching here in Colombia. So Friday was the last day of classes for everyone, or more like Thursday, because on Friday they just had activities. And so yeah, no more classes. So end of the year, I've got one more week at school to do some paperwork and things. But that's pretty much finished with my teaching experience here in Colombia. And it's been a very wonderful year. I've learned a lot. And so now it's time for reflection. Today I want to reflect on the top 3 classroom activities that really worked for my students at my school, and I had a lot of fun, they had a lot of fun, and overall I think they learnt the most out of these classes as well. So I want to reflect on that today. So these classroom activities could work for many types of students. So it doesn't just have to be for Colombian students and not just for high school or primary school students. It could work for other nationalities and other age groups. But in terms of personality wise, because my Colombian students were so, energetic, and they were not shy, they were outgoing, and they loved to, have fun in the classroom, that's really why these classroom activities worked for me. But, maybe you could change it up a bit and it could work for other types of people as well. So I'll go backwards in order. So I'm going to start from the 3rd most successful classroom activity that I did with the student. And this type of class was comparing culture. So it was comparing culture between Colombia and Australia, so my country, Australia, and doing a real comparison in the culture for these two countries. And because I felt that, more than an English teacher, I was teaching my students more about culture. And yes, of course I was teaching them English, but I was really there to teach them about culture. And so I really had success with this class because the students really enjoyed learning about the different culture. So for example, the topic that I focused on, and for my class when I did this, was that I talked about the education system, so the school system, what is school life like in Australia and what is school like in Colombia, and I did a direct comparison of various factors. And number one, it was interesting because the students could relate, obviously, because they were in school, and secondly because they were so different. The two aspects were so different, so comparing every aspect one by one, all the students were like, oh my God, is it really like that in Australia? Oh my God, that is amazing, or things like that. And these aspects I've actually covered in a previous video, which is Teaching English in Colombia, the education system. So if you'd like to watch that video, you can check the link out up here, or I'll leave the link down below as well. So I compared those factors with the students and it was a great success. The students really enjoyed finding out the information, and I loved sharing that information because it was just like an eye-opener for them. The second most successful classroom activity I did was an activity called Minimal Pairs, which focused on the pronunciation of particular words that sound very similar but are completely different meaning. And I thought this was really, really important to the Colombian students because, the pronunciation between two sets of words that sound different but mean totally different things, was really beneficial to them. And although I found this activity online, and although that they gave me several examples of pairs of words such as ship and sheep, coat and court, and words like that, even though there was like a whole list of words like that, I actually, had some weeks preparing for this topic, and I listened to the students, I listened to the teachers, and found which words they would pronounce incorrectly, and I made a list of those words for my Colombian students, and I did that in the classroom. So for example, the most common mistakes or the common mispronunciation words were teacher versus t-shirt, live versus leave, life versus live, cat versus cut, and learnt bitch versus beach. And I know, so the last one there, bitch, you know, you can imagine what the reaction was like for the students because they knew what that word meant. And, you know, they were like, ha, that is so funny. But I was like, well, actually, whenever you learn any type of language, it is really important to learn the good words as well as the bad words because you don't want to get those two mixed up. So I said to them, like, this is probably the most important factor because you don't want to say, I like bitch. No, I like the beach. So I taught that in the classroom and it was a huge success because when I said to them, like, okay, how do you pronounce this? They said, Tisha. I said, okay, how do you pronounce this? Tisha, Tisha, Tisha. So it was really, really funny as well, and we had a lot of fun in the classroom doing this activity. And the number one most successful classroom activity was an activity that I played in a game and a competition, and the topic was, what is the question? And this was successful because, firstly, because it was a competition, so people got really involved in it and really enthusiastic about it. But second of all, because it was a topic that was challenging because, you know, asking a question in English is so different to making a statement in English. You have to change the sentence around so much. But in Spanish, you ask the question, like in a sentence, and then the answer is the same structure. So for Spanish speakers, asking questions in English is really difficult. So it was really challenging and it was a lot of fun, this game. So how the game goes is that I got everyone into 4 groups. So there was four or five groups of around maybe 10, 7, 8, 9 students. And they were in groups and I would say an answer. So for example, I would say, my name is Anna. And then they would have to say the question and they would say, what is your name? And so obviously that was a very easy one and that was the example I gave to them. But you get harder and more challenging, and I made it more challenging because I said, okay, you have to get every single word right. And this was such a successful game because not only I got one person from each group to stand up to say the answer to me, but I said, okay, if you're stuck, you can. It's a teamwork game as well. So you have to ask your team what is the answer, and then the team would help out that person, and then that person would tell me. So it was really teamwork, and everyone was involved, and it was competition, so they loved it. And you know, maybe because you know they're young students, so the competition, they were more focused on the competition than the actual English and the game. But as a whole, it was really successful and I had a lot of fun, and the students learned a lot in that game as well. So I hope you like these 3 ideas of classroom activities, and these were definitely the most successful ones that I had in my teaching experience this year. And you know, let me know what you think, if you agree. You know, I think any competition built into a classroom activity is really successful because it gets people involved and having fun, and it just makes the students realize that, you know, English, it doesn't have to be boring. It can be a fun thing because language is used to express yourself, so it can be a really fun thing to learn. Okay, well, I hope you liked this video, so give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as follow me on my blog at annatrigelasmith.com for more information on teaching English in Colombia as well as general experiences I've had in Colombia. Okay, see you next time. Bye.